For almost a quarter of a century, I faced disbelief and hostility. I suffered abuse in all its forms.
She was one of Australia's most hated women, accused of the most heinous of crimes.
I hoped and prayed that one day I would be able to stand here with my name cleared.
In 2003, Kathleen Folbigg was convicted of killing her 4 children, Caleb, Patrick, Sarah and Laura. Now, after 20 years behind bars, her convictions have been quashed by the New South Wales Supreme Court.
This story is about more than just Kathleen Folbigg. It is about a story of the good in this world, about a large group of people who saw an injustice and did something about it.
In June, Kathleen was pardoned and released from prison after a landmark inquiry found reasonable doubt over her guilt, raised by new scientific evidence that 2 of her children had a rare and fatal genetic mutation, one underlying neurogenetic epilepsy.
I am grateful that updated science and genetics has given me answers as to how my children died. However, even in 1999, we had legal answers to prove my innocence. They were ignored and dismissed.
Today, the court backing the inquiry's findings that Kathleen's diary entries, used then to show a guilty conscience, instead showed a grieving mother.
They cherry-picked words and phrases from my journals. They took my words out of context and turned them against me. They accused me of something I never wrote about, never did, and never could do.
Kathleen's lawyers seeking a record compensation payout.
I'm not prepared to put a figure on it yet, but what I will say, it will be substantial.
And calling for a new independent body to investigate possible miscarriages of justice.
The system preferred to blame me rather than accept that sometimes children can and do die suddenly, unexpectedly, and heartbreakingly. I think the system and society needs to think before they blame a parent of hurting their children.
Make no mistake that without law reform, these sort of miscarriages of justice will continue.
Today, Kathleen flanked by the friends who fought for her.
As we close this chapter, remember the true value of friendship, and I hope you all do. Friendship is important.
Her case, one of the greatest miscarriages of justice in Australian history.
My children are here with me today, and they will be close to my heart for the rest of my life.
Today's decision marking the end of a long road to vindication.
I know I am one of the lucky ones. I have a chance with support to rebuild my life. But there are many other people who aren't so lucky. In our lucky country, Australia, this should not be the case. We need to be humble and open to improving the system to ensure truth is revealed, because truth and correct legal outcomes matter.
Peter Yates, a friend and long-time supporter of Kathleen, was at court today. Peter, what was that moment like in court when the judgment was handed down?
It was a very, very special moment. After this long period of time, we held our breath. Tracy cried, Kathleen was elated, and we were just really struck numb by the decision that had been made, which we've waited for so long. It was very emotional.
You've been, I think, celebrating with Kathleen this afternoon. How's she doing? What's the reaction?
Oh, we've certainly been celebrating. We've put on a lunch for the team Folbigg. We had Christmas crackers, we had turkey, we had Christmas pudding. She's in great form. She gave a wonderful speech to all of the gathered team Folbigg and her friends and the legal team. And she's in extremely high spirits, as you would well imagine, because she's now a free woman.
Kathleen, she's been out of prison since June. Was being released the most important thing for her, or was it today and her name finally being cleared?
Well, it was wonderful that she was pardoned and released, but she couldn't live her life. So until the convictions were actually quashed, which is what happened today, she was never a free woman. She was a woman that was pardoned but not free. Today, she never has to put on her on anything she writes that she's ever been a convicted woman, because she is now free, and that's a very, very special moment for her, and we celebrated that very hard.
Peter, at the centre of this is still a mum who has lost 4 babies. Has Kathleen had a chance to grieve properly, and does today's decision allow her perhaps to do that?
Well, you know, it's just a terrible situation where She was basically improperly snatched by the state of New South Wales and thrown into jail. I don't even know how she could have properly grieved. She spent that time being beaten up in solitary confinement. I think she was just in survival mode. I think today means that she can be free. She can be free to have the thoughts she would like to have. She can be free to be the beautiful woman that she is and have that connection with her children. She's always loved them. She talked about that today.
Kathleen's lawyers say they pursue substantial compensation. But how do you calculate the value of 20 years wrongfully behind bars?
Well, I mean, I put that to the project team. What number do you think you would want if you'd been snatched from your home, beaten in prison, put in solitary confinement for 5 years and served 20 years behind bars? It is going to be a very big number. But it's not just the number. The state of New South Wales needs to apologise to Kathleen. It can't just be 3 judges sitting wearing their red Christmas robes, which we saw today, saying, OK, this has been quashed. That's it. Move on. The state of New South Wales needs to apologise. The state of New South Wales needs to pay significant compensation, and the state of New South Wales needs to hold an inquiry into how did this possibly happen.
Peter, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for that.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your support.